What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode 40 of Futbol on the Full Heel Network. My name is Frankie, joined as usual by my boy Johnny here. We got Andres on the Skype. And, of course, the owner slash operator slash founder of the Full Heel Network, Rafa's in the back. And here we are again on a Thursday night. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the network, share this link. Or if you're joining us live, let us know what you think about your favorite team, your favorite players, about the show in the chat. And yeah, guys, I'm kind of bummed to start the show because we are now at an international break, another international break, which means there's no club football for the next 2 weeks. That's usually what I look forward to on the weekends. So all of these inconsequential friendlies and UEFA Nations League matches don't really do it for me. I don't know about you guys.
Same. We got to get right into it. They're fucking shit up right now, even having the matches.
That's right. Last week we started with who was not hot. And I'm not going to do that again because I don't want to start on a sad note, on a tragic note. We'll start with who's hot. I want to start with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich played in probably the most, maybe not necessarily exciting, but it did get exciting. But important match of the weekend. They played in Der Klassiker against Dortmund and won 3-2, taking the advantage in the Bundesliga and sole possession of first place. Unfortunately, I guess maybe even bigger than the result, Joshua Kimmich was hurt in this match and had to leave. So that'll probably be a big deal that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show. But Bayern, even without him, going from strength to strength, beating their toughest domestic competition without really being tested. Dortmund created chances but didn't really threaten and didn't really look to finish. And in the last 10 minutes, they scored a goal and made it exciting at the end. But Bayern just keeps on going. I know Johnny thinks they're weak or susceptible, but they just keep on winning, even with injuries and even with all kinds of things working against them. Coman, I understand, is now injured as well. So I got to give credit where credit is due, and they just keep winning. 2020 has been the year of Bayern Munich, boys.
Yeah, don't get me started on it, though. I feel like what's not hot is all these injuries.
No, that's what's not hot. And
everyone's getting injured because so many games, and it's starting to turn into like the who's not injured game. Because, again, kind of touching on the internationals, like why are they players going out and then playing that in between all these normal games? So not hot is all these soft tissue injuries?
Yeah, right? Not hot.
Frankie said?
Not the soft tissue injuries from all these matches that these guys are playing. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense since we're talking about Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich has played an incredible amount of matches in a short amount of time, considering the Champions League was played after the restart of all of the leagues and everything.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, no, I mean, I guess we'll just jump off there then after shouting out Bayern Munich.
Well, I'll talk about them a little bit. I mean, this coach is amazing.
Hansi Flick.
He looks like a straight killer on the bench, like never panics, but the team knows what to do at all times. They're pretty like ruthless with it. I think them losing Kimmich, though, how long is he out for? 3 months? 2 months? It's not that long, but it'll be interesting it'll be interesting to see who they play there, because I think no one can really do what he does in the mid for them that they have left. So I think, and then Bayern, to me, they won, but they keep letting goals up. You know, they I don't think they've had a clean sheet in like a couple, like 5 games at least.
Yeah, especially I think you're right. More concerning was when they played Salzburg in the Champions League, the little Austrian team that could. I mean, they didn't beat
Mm.
them, right? But they gave them a little bit of a scare.
That's all I'll say on Bayern. But yeah, I think them and Liverpool are the best teams in the world right now. Easy. It's them two, and then everybody else for me right now.
Do you have anything to add about Bayern, Andres?
Uh, Not really. I think with the injuries, we're gonna have to see a lot of other players, down their depth roster. But other than that, yeah, they just keep ticking away. I think they're losing a little bit of defensive focus. Not sure if that's because of so many like other players coming into the into the fray, and like Pavard and Lucas Hernandez not playing. But they lost Sewell. They lost a couple players to injury, so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that moving forward. But yeah, they're pretty much a lock to like last 16 and champs,
Is
and then
is,
we'll just go from there.
is the league wrapped up in Germany? Is it that easy to call, or there's still a lot of season left? Right? They what?
Yeah,
They
I
got
think
like
there's
a
too many
three
games.
point
I think there's too
three
many
point
games
advantage
to
or
make it.
4?
Well, 3 points on Dortmund and 2 points on Leipzig. Leipzig's in second now, and Dortmund's in third.
Oh no, it's still wide open then. But that was a big game though.
Yep.
You're right. It was, and I think I said Bayern would win because they just have a better overall team than Dortmund. In the mid, Dortmund. I mean, they're still missing pieces. They're not even in second. RB's in second.
They are. And speaking of missing pieces, I wanted to get into my next selection for who's hot. I won't say that the team is hot. Manchester United is so all over the place right now. Until they show some sort of consistency, I'm not really going to speak on them too much. But Bruno Fernandes, guys, almost single-handedly won this match for them over the weekend. He scored 2 goals and had the assist for Cavani's first Manchester United goal. Bruno Fernandes is the truth. Can't even hate. Even if you hate United, even if you're not convinced by this team right now, the effect that he's had, I can't emphasize how important he's been, right?
Yeah.
He's a stud Bruno Fernandes, and we got to shout him out for it. He's hot.
He's the modern midfielder now, kind of like De Bruyne. I think he's got what, like 30 goals or like involvements in like 30 games. He's been super critical for them. He does everything. Fernandez kind of has stepped it up as. Is he the captain now, right?
I think Maguire's still captain, but he has worn the. I think he's worn the captain armband once or twice, a few times.
He's the only one that shows any type of leadership or like even like assumption of it, or like because no one else on that team be stepping it up. But that's just a shout out to him. He's been super hot. I think since they bought him, he hasn't stopped scoring. Right? I think he's been scoring every game or every other game easily, or an assist every other game. So yeah, he's keeping Gunner's job right now too. The boy is clutch.
Yeah, right. And just like last week, we were talking about how
Pogba.
Pogba giving up penalties against Arsenal, and they're losing matches, and they come back, and I guess this is a pretty important match for them in their season. Everton's starting to feel the effects of the congestion and injuries that we're going to discuss in a little bit, and they're starting to cool off. But United get a big win for them. And I think it's important to note, Johnny, that they were wearing the black shorts.
Yeah.
I think that's more than anything, more than Bruno Fernandes, more than anybody else's performance. I think that was the biggest reason why they won the match. When they go out and wear the black shorts and the black socks, are you kidding me? Who's going to beat that? You can't beat that.
Yeah,
Fuck out of here.
They look like real Red Devils like that, on some killer shit.
You have anything pertinent to say on United, Andres? Do you disagree? Or not? Forget United. Bruno Fernandes is the truth, right?
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much hit all the key stuff about United. I would rather want Ole just to kind of instead of being reactive with the team, kind of just like impose with Fernandes being the centerpiece. He would shine differently if he had like all the players working in a set role instead of like reacting to teams and stuff like that. But he's world class. Yeah, good pickup by United.
We'll stick in the Premier League. Two teams. I guess you can throw in three. I'll throw in three teams. I was gonna throw in two, but I guess I'll humor you a little bit on this. Big shouts out. Chelsea and Spurs are both hot right now, boys. Both scoring a lot of goals and both not conceding any more goals. More importantly, Spurs have scored, or no, now Chelsea has, right? Chelsea has now scored more goals than anybody else, but it's right there. It's like a two-goal difference. And Spurs is in second, tied with Liverpool. Chelsea's in fifth. But the really important thing to notice about Chelsea, like you pointed out earlier on this, clean sheets, right? And they've been getting these clean sheets all while trying to figure out the offense, right, or the attack. And now Hakeem Ziyech is looking like a revelation, like a stellar buy. Timo Werner is scoring at a high clip now, pretty much every single game. Some of those penalties, whatever, but he's scoring. And this is still with Kai Havertz out with the COVID. This is still with Pulisic out injured, right? So Chelsea looks like they can be fierce. I think we all discussed that we might have some question marks about their defending, specifically at center back, but the new goalie, Mendy, looks like a much needed upgrade over Kepa and Caballero there, right?
Stein? Yeah. Do we agree that we would put Chelsea over United now?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you guys. I'm still not sold on Spurs, but I'll put Spurs over United as well. Harry Kane, if we're going to include on who's hot, Harry Kane is single-handedly responsible for 95% of Spurs' goals, whether that's assists or goals scored. It's freaking crazy what Harry Kane is doing right now for that team. Again, not to diminish what contributions from elsewhere, right? Like Reguilon has looked pretty good since he's been bought and added to the starting lineup or the starting 11 at left back. Son is always going to bring a lot to offer, and we know is a good foil to Harry Kane. But Harry Kane is just making a huge impact and difference. If Bruno's making a huge impact at United, Kane's making a similar impact since he got healthy for Spurs.
Yeah, but I didn't. Spurs had to go to the wire, I think, to win. Right?
It was a 1-0, yeah, and Harry Kane scored by a header. I think, and again, I mentioned Reguilon because I think he was the one that assisted. It was across from him that might be wrong about that, but either way,
that's a Bale. That's a Bale goal that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the match before. You're right. Either way, Harry Kane scored a header, and you're right. It was in the last 15 minutes or so, and they were wearing that yellow kit.
Yeah, I was kind of liking it, but it was like a weird yellow. What kind of yellow was that? I don't know, but it was Spurs as fuck.
Canary yellow.
Yeah, exactly. I think Spurs has the potential to just be a good team. So I know I'm rating them, I don't know, just off of that front three maybe now, I'm saying, arguably. And then it's tough. It's going to be a good race because what front three is best? Their three or Chelsea's three? Because Chelsea's three is not even defined yet. And then United's attacking power is pretty impressive now too, you know? This league is going crazy, right? The EPO and then Liverpool and then City. It's all
Yeah, I
gold.
also have Leicester City too.
Then and that's the third team I was gonna mention. I wasn't gonna mention them, but I guess we can't not mention them because they're currently sitting first place, atop of the table, by a single point. But Leicester City
I didn't see those highlights.
are at the top of the Premier League right now.
They beat Wolves.
They just beat Wolves this last weekend. Granted, it was a penalty.
It was only 1-0?
It was a similar penalty to the one that that City got against Liverpool. I forget what his name is, but the Wolves defender put his arm out and inside the box hit him in the forearm, and of course it was called a penalty, and it was promptly dispatched by Leicester City, and now they're top of the table. So props to them. They're hot. You can't can't say that they're not hot when they're at 18 points top of the Premier League now. Getting goals from, Jamie Vardy in his 30s, getting contributions from players who I don't mean to say no names disrespectfully, but they're no names, right? Pretty big players that they've had in that lineup are out right now. The Turkish center back Soyuncu, man, I'm probably saying that wrong. He's out. Wilfred Ndidi is out. They've had some pretty big injuries there. Madison is back. They've got other guys that have come back, and I think they've got their Christian Fuchs played this last weekend, who is 34 years old and hasn't really played since they won the Premier League in 2016, which is 4 years ago now. So they're still getting by. So credit to them. Credit to Brendan Rodgers again. He says and does some questionable things off the pitch, and maybe man management wise, but tactically he's a sound manager, and he's showing it right now. If they can maintain this is, I think, the question. I don't think they can, but for the time being, props to them, and they're hot. We'll see how long they can maintain this hot streak.
I mean, they got our boy Madison,
and he's back.
Yeah, he's back and he's hot. Him and Vardy. Vardy chugging Red Bulls for sure before the games. You already know it.
He's a speedster.
Wow, this call was so questionable. See, I would not have called this one though. There's no way this guy's gonna try to center and not be able to hit his arm there.
Yeah, this one's harder. This one's harder because that
was not a penalty. This is so stupid.
It's the same thing as the Joe Gomez one, except
Leicester Wolves handball.
Yeah, but Joe Gomez was farther away, so he had more time to react. This guy in the Wolves, he didn't have as much time to react. It was much closer. But again, if it goes off the arm, they're gonna call it.
No, but that's where the VAR lacks the rationale of, like, you're seeing the play in slow motion too to call the hand, or are you calling the play?
It's because the rule now. I'm glad you mentioned it. The rule now, and I joked about it before we went live, but it can't be the net. I guess what they say in England, the natural silhouette. So like I guess, just standing normally, right? If you're going like this, if your arms are out, that's not the natural silhouette, right? So anytime the arm is out, it's an unfair advantage. It's got to be by your side or behind your back now. So by the letter of the law, at least they're following the letter of the law now. We can disagree or agree and argue about the silhouette, but at least they're following the letter of the law. And last year, everybody was leaving it up to whatever the fuck. Now, at least we now know if it hits your arm, it's going to be a penalty. At least that's the baseline, right? And that way it's fair for everybody. So I mean, it's, I guess if you can say it's harsh on Wolves, but at least that they called it on Wolves, they called it on Liverpool later on the same day.
Terrible rule. I could see there's no way that he's gonna move his hand that quick that a player can't just center and then be like it was a handball. That's the logical thing here. This would not be a handball, but at the Liverpool one, I would say was a handball because he had more time to react. Whereas this one, it was like for real. But yeah, they're just gonna call hand. Anytime it hits the hand, they're gonna call it. Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it, but shout out Leicester. Andres got him.
Yeah.
Fighting for top 4.
Anything to add, Andres? You're like the Leicester fan here.
I mean, they've had injuries, but they've also recruited really well. They got Fofana, who recently got hurt, but I think he's been a revelation for them. And Telemans is a really young defensive midfielder for them, but he's putting in work.
So who do we got between them, Wolves, and between them, Man U and Tottenham?
See, that's tough.
Leicester? They're the last?
Well, for me, I don't think the Bale project is going to work at Tottenham. I think they need someone a little bit more dynamic than him, and he's really not. He'll drag players, but I don't think he's capable of scoring, even 10 goals this season.
If he can just stay healthy, and that's just such a big question mark too, man.
Like, if you see him, he's not hitting. His key attribute was power, speed, physicality, speed.
And I'll add this to you too, and maybe you guys agree with me or not, but this is a 1-year loan, and we know that he has no future at Madrid. He's technically playing for a transfer here. He's playing for a contract, I would argue.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm just not too. I'm convinced by Tottenham. Definitely, maybe top 4 for sure. Top 4, but I have them over Man United for sure. Unless Man United kind of figures out the winning recipe in a way. But Leicester looks good. I mean, it's all going to depend on how many games these guys are playing, how many injuries they pile up, who copes. It's too many variables to kind of, say this is going to happen.
Another variable, Leicester's got to play Europa too. And, I mean, they're being pushed right now and coping with injuries, but we'll see, in January, February when, man, it's hard to think, but imagine right now because they're going through such a crazy schedule. But it gets crazier in England during the holiday, right? Or the holidays, I guess you can say. So about a month and a half from now, things are about to get even crazier. We'll see how things stand for them there. The last hot mention that I have, Atletico Madrid, guys. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about, is Cholo really the one to get the best out of offensive players like Joao Felix? And now both Joao Felix and Atletico are on a tear. Felix has scored now in, I believe, 4 straight matches. Scored a banger in this last match. Atletico ripped off 4 goals against the opposition this past weekend. They're in 3rd place currently in La Liga, but they have at least 1 match at hand, possibly 2, so they can very easily climb to the top. So just when we thought that Atletico couldn't find that last gear to really get things clicking, it looks like they might. It looks like Suarez and Felix are starting to work together well. Suarez scored this last match. Joao Felix scored this last match. Llorente scored again. That guy, since he had that coming out party against Liverpool, has not stopped scoring for them. It's crazy. And that center mid pairing of Koke and Saul, you knew it was too much quality. At some point, they were going to play out of their slump, right? So Atletico, I don't know if, I think Johnny was saying it somewhat sarcastically this morning, but I think they're primed to push for the traditional powers there. I guess now they're a power in La Liga, right? And especially in the last decade, but I think they can make a run for it. We talk about Sevilla being a pretty decent team and maybe making a run, but I think maybe Atletico can push it even further than Sevilla can under Lopetegui.
I think we've been saying that, or I that's what, because realistically, Madrid's gonna drop points and their defense is questionable, definitely in the not hot list, and then, but the important thing about Atletico right now is that they got Joao Felix scoring, and that was the main hit on Simeone. They were like, you can't even play him to his strengths, and the kid's scoring now, and some have been bangers. Like, those goals haven't been that easy, and he's kind of putting the team on his back at times now. But yeah, this is their best shot again to win the league, and then they got Suarez, who's been scoring like consistently for them, and he's I like the squad. Remember, we always said, like, because when David Villa left Barca and then they won, a lot of similar stuff right here. I think
Johnny has been saying that since he transferred. He has a similar effect. He could have a similar effect at Atletico the same way that David Villa had at Atletico after they both left Barca. So we'll see.
I think when you think of Atletico, you always think world-class strikers. So I think they have someone to complement Joao Felix and develop him, find that scoring touch. And I think they were good last season, but they just didn't have that kind of edge in the offense. So I think they can put it together this season. And I think the big test is going to be Barca. If they can show that they can come up against a somewhat weak Barca, then I'd probably have them winning the league too.
Yeah, and they play each other after the international break, so that's one to keep an eye on. Big shout out too to Jose Maria Jimenez. He's been playing great under the radar. We already knew that he was a good center back, but this season in particular, he's really kind of stood out. And we already know that Oblak is possibly maybe top 3, definitely top 3, possibly the best keeper in the world. So yeah, they've got a lot of really, really good functional pieces that understand Simeone. And if they can keep up the scoring, who knows?
Even Trippier and Lodi, they're not too bad.
I mean, they work for the system.
Atletico just has they play. They're they play the same. I mean, they have depth because they
Mhm.
have so many mids and forwards.
Yeah, I don't know who
I
they've.
mean, I don't love Lodi or Trip, but they don't need to do a lot of the work. They just need to defend, for the
Mhm.
way Atletico plays. Old school Atletico used to run up all day with the sides with our
On the
boy
wing.
Felipe Luis, right? Or
Yeah,
what's it? Yeah, and
and Juan Fran.
yeah, but that's not them no more. And yeah, um, them or Sevilla might win the league. We keep saying, well, I keep saying it like, I mean, I wouldn't put my money on them yet, but if I really want to make money, we gotta put the money on it right now.
Would you say that Madrid is a not hot team right now?
Definitely not. Quick shout out to that not hot Real Madrid who just got blasted 4-1 by Valencia. Interestingly, Valencia had a hat trick of penalties.
Yeah. What the
One on
fuck?
Ramos, and guys, Ramos really should have had another red card added to his record. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he volleyball swatted the ball out of the area. I don't know how the fuck they didn't call anything out for that one. I mean, they were penalized for it and they scored, but Carlos Soler had 3 penalties. One on Marcelo, one on Lucas Vasquez, who's playing at right back right now, mind you.
Where the fuck is that?
And then the one off of Sergio Ramos that I've already mentioned. Not good. Not good for Real Madrid right now. It's the first time in Real Madrid history that they've given up 3 penalties in a match. And I think, guys, something really noticeable is Madrid has lost the last 9 matches that Marcelo has started at left back. I don't know if that means anything to you guys. I don't know if that's just coincidental. I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think there's a trait among kind of those players like Marcelo and Cruz. They kind of don't like track back in a way like they used to. So leaving up a lot of like gaps and extra work for the center backs. So it's kind of alarming. And then a lot of players are injured. Some have COVID. So they're a mess. I don't see any positivity out of there. Besides Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, besides Sergio Ramos. Yeah. And even then, he just showed in this match, too, he's liable for lose his head and do something crazy, right?
Yeah, he's also the center back, the center back with the most
The
red
highest
cards in
scoring center
history.
back in history. Yes, he's also the most ejected center back in history. Not just center back, but player.
And the
Regardless,
greatest Spanish player ever.
Arguably, I mean,
Uh,
capped wise, he's gonna
see,
be
I
up
paused
there.
because it's hard for me to say no, but I probably can argue for maybe one or two others. That's a conversation for another time. Uh, quick minor hot shout outs to 2 guys on German teams that we didn't mention to start off. Erling Haaland and Lewandowski can't stop scoring, guys. Both of those guys are on a tear. Haaland's going to be the real deal. I mean, he is the real deal. We know this. But he's going to go back and forth competing for,
Scoring titles,
golden boots, and player of the year awards with Mbappe and
all these guys.
yeah. And Lewandowski again, man, I feel bad. It was funny because some artist gifted him a Lego Ballon d'Or statue, but he really should have gotten it this year. Honestly, it sucks
Yeah.
that it almost doesn't make sense that I guess a couple of leagues got canceled, but it's not like anybody else was going to catch up, right?
Yeah.
This has been the year of Lewandowski, unquestionably. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Shouts out to him.
Well, him and Haaland, who's a scoring phenom too.
Yeah. And now we get into what's not hot. It's not who's not, it's what's not hot. And what's not hot, guys, is this COVID congestion. It's catching up to people. Not just the COVID-19 virus, because players are still testing positive at a high rate. We're talking about Kai Havertz. We're talking about other big names recently that are still popping up, even in Germany, even in France, even in places where you think the situation has been under control. And the other thing that's popping up, the other problem that's arising because of this is so many matches have been played since when did the league return? Like June, right? Play return resumed in June. after COVID stoppages, and it's been nonstop since. Guys had maybe like 7 to 8 days off in between, the ends of seasons and the starts of preseasons. Preseasons were shortened. So the soft tissue injuries are starting to rack up. For some teams, we're talking like whole lineups. Liverpool is the one that you think of first and foremost, right? Now Joe Gomez added to the list of guys who are going to be out for a long time. Ansu Fati at Barcelona out for 4 months now. PSG's got a whole starting 11 of guys that are out. We're talking Neymar, Mbappe, Juan Bernat, Icardi, Verratti, Draxler, Kimpembe, Sarabia, Gueye, Keane.
Stop it, it's dead.
It's crazy, and this is the situation everywhere. There's 99 players in the Premier League that are currently hurt. 99. Nathan Ake got hurt on international duty. It's just piling up everywhere. Earlier we mentioned, we forgot to mention Trent Alexander-Arnold left the Man City match with an injury, and he'll be out till December. It just is going from bad to worse, not just for Liverpool, not just for PSG, for everybody everywhere. Kingsley Coman is out now for Bayern, and Bayern very quietly has an injury crisis too. Coman, Davies, Nicolas Sula is out injured again.
Kovar, I think, is out too.
Yeah, no, it's crazy everywhere, guys. Johnny, I will give you props for this because it's almost been prophetic. Johnny, for the longest, has now been saying that it's going to start to rack up, and we are now clearly seeing that it is going to rack up. These players, as great as they are just human beings, and we're seeing a lot of the hamstrings, a lot of knee injuries, a lot of non-contact stuff. All indication of just too much wear and tear, right? So yeah. I don't understand why the Premier League didn't keep the 5 substitution rules. All the other big leagues did. The Premier League didn't. And I don't understand, quite frankly,
why did they do that?
Why they're playing internationals right now that aren't World Cup qualifiers. And even then, given COVID...
Well, they played Euros.
They played some for Euros, but those were like the final spots, right? Like Hungary got in on this last one, right? And I know they're playing some friendlies and Nations League stuff. So keep your eye out, I guess, if you play, not just because if you play fantasy for some of these leagues, but your favorite club is probably affected by this crisis in one way or another. Even Cristiano Ronaldo is picking up knocks. Substituted out early in the draw to Lazio after picking up an ankle injury. So yeah, definitely not hot. A situation that's not hot is the congestion that's causing the injuries, and of course the virus that's still wreaking havoc on players and populations everywhere. Shout outs to Zasquid, Toucan the boy. Yes, the bodies are dropping. They're piling up. It sucks.
Bodies dropping.
Big names too, not just like nobodies too. We're talking big names and big injuries. A lot of that knee one is a popular one, right? Joe Gomez was a knee one, right? His knee. Joshua Kimmich, right? We're talking big names. It's just this whole week I've been like this, like what the hell? They keep piling up, one name after the other.
Hey! At least Dembele is still.
Yeah, shockingly. Not only is shout out to him. I guess we should. He's not hot yet, but he scored a banger against Betis this weekend to start the scoring for Barcelona. So good to see him at least staying on the field. Johnny noted that he's looking more jacked than he had been before. So one wonders if he's actually these two-a-days or these punishment trainings that he's been forced to do, right? It looks like maybe they're working on the boy.
Well, he was barely 20. Yeah, he's a 23.
On the lad.
Another injured player we didn't mention was Valverde.
Oh, yeah, he broke his leg. Federico Valverde broke his leg, and he's been a revelation for Real Madrid since last year, doing a lot of the hard work and grit in the midfield there for Madrid. That's a big one, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that in that league, they're going to be giving up, like, Madrid's not going to have clean sheets, and they can barely score. It's a toss-up over there. But, yeah, not hot. Not hot. Well, I'll get right into it, because, or did you want to add anything else to the COVID?
No, you, Andres? Anything to the injuries or COVID? It's just it was bound to happen, right?
Well, this is directly related to that because the game of the weekend or the one that we were looking at was the Liverpool City, and now Liverpool had just mounted with more injuries on top of the injuries they already had, and the game starts and these motherfuckers decide to field a 4-2-4 sorry against City and said, you know what, contemplating who to start at the front three. Remember at the beginning of the game, and I know we said Firmino or who was gonna start, and they start all four of them, and then the game started hot. It was a good game, bro. I liked the game a lot. City had it to win it, and they couldn't finish on a penalty, but the story kind of gets marred because more injuries for Liverpool now, and how are they going to hold up for the rest of the season? And are we convinced by City, or what did we really see from City?
Well,
You
I
know?
think, like you said, it's fitting because what we saw was Liverpool coming out guns blazing the first 15
Mm.
minutes and literally creating 4 or 5 opportunities to take an early lead. And then after that, and especially in the second half, City won the midfield battle. Um,
Mm.
and I think since you pointed out, since you brought it up, not hot is Manchester City on penalties. Shocking to see KDB miss a penalty. I mean, we've seen Man City struggle with penalties, and Johnny has jokingly been calling it their great weakness for almost a year now. But that
Mm.
just will not go away for them. It's crazy how they just keep missing those. Kevin De Bruyne dragging one wide this last weekend that probably could have won the match for them, right?
Should have won the match for them.
But City was the better team in the second half and towards the second part of the first half.
Mm.
And I think definitely Liverpool, and actually not just Liverpool. You could see it in both teams. The fatigue was visible in the second half. Maybe a little bit more in Liverpool, but you can just see that both teams. I don't know if consciously the managers were telling them, but it was it was like they both knew that the point was probably the best result for both of them, and to just kind of take it back a notch so as to not risk anything else, especially after
Mm.
TAA went down, right? And
Yeah.
I think in that match it wasn't as exciting as we would have wanted it to, just because I feel like it's caught up to both teams. Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe it was a tactical thing. Maybe it was because they tweaked it to the 4-2-4 or 4-2-3-1, whatever. But I think it was fatigue and congestion more than anything else.
No, they definitely got tired because the second half just it dropped off noticeably. But I think I was the pitch too, and what
Oh,
we've
the
been
pitch was
saying,
horrible. Yeah.
and just what we've been saying, that it's just too many games. If anything, the players kind of knew they were going to go on international break, even though that's to go play more games. But
I think teams like Liverpool are at disadvantage here because they play such high intensity all the time that you're playing this many games at that intensity, you're gonna get a lot of players injured.
Yeah, a lot of teams play like that now too. Though, like Atalanta is another good one, and they're starting to see some injuries pile up. Leipzig
Yeah.
plays similar.
I mean, Bayern always attacks too. I don't think that's. If anything, I'll still attest that Liverpool's the fittest team I've ever seen, and they already kind of used to it, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
got the
bro. But they've been doing this
workhorses
for
to it.
18 months.
So who's calling out 18 months and now they're gonna get tired? You can throw whatever you want at Liverpool. This is the most resilient team ever. Not right now. I'm a little bit concerned because obviously they don't have defenders for at least. I mean, if they get Fabinho back, then he's back now, and it's. I'm not worried about that stuff with Liverpool, because I'm just convinced they're gonna attack so much and do everything necessary to win the game. And they're beating teams in the tunnels. Man City still couldn't win it, and it was left there on the plate for them. So I think the winners, even though Man City dominated the game, kind of, or the
Mm.
end of the second or the end of the first and the second half, Liverpool taking the point was more important than City getting a point. City needed 3 to really try to prove something, and so I think Liverpool got away with one, and they go on happy to now an injured ass team and see what happens, right? That was my main takeaway.
I mean, my main takeaway was Liverpool is Liverpool. I mean, you put four forwards out there, you're gonna get that kind of danger in the first 20 minutes. But I think City also kind of found some defensive stability now, and second half was kind of more them. I mean, Jesus had a good goal, but then he missed another wide open header. It wasn't really too offensive for me from their side. I think they can. I don't know. I think Pep kind of held back. Even Foden didn't come on. Mahrez stayed on the bench. He made one sub. So it was kind of weird to see that he didn't try to go for the 3 points. But I mean, he probably knows best his players and
Yeah,
the pitch.
I think he knew
pitch,
that.
so,
I think he knew that a point was acceptable on the day, and these guys he didn't want to burn through them. You know, I think these guys are
yeah.
conscious. Klopp and other managers have come out to say that this schedule is ridiculous, right? And that the FA needs to address it. And we've been saying this for a long time. We'll see it a month from now, but that stretch in Christmas and Boxing Day and the New Year is crazy for the players in the Premier League. Everywhere else gets at least to catch their breath, but over there they just keep grinding. And this year especially, I feel like exceptions need to be made or some accommodations. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of money and contracts and all this other stuff tied up in it, but these players are human beings, man. You can't just run them ragged like this. And then
I think Cruz came out saying that they're not puppets.
Well, yeah, it
For
takes
UEFA
away.
and FIFA.
Yeah, it takes away from the quality of the game to have a fresh, rested team to play.
Oh, yeah.
And the that's why the managers are all speaking out. Klopp, Ole, and who else? I think it's, another coach.
those are the two big ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
Solskjaer was mad because he thought United's match should have been played at least a little bit later since they played in the midweek. Klopp
Yeah.
agreed, echoed the same sentiments, and Klopp has been complaining about the schedule in England since he arrived in England. So I think Pep has been known to say a thing or two about it too. So
Yeah, but I mean, to the question at hand is, how much now is it gonna affect Liverpool that they don't have Trent Alexander for a month, right? I mean, I think they can handle that with Milner and that new guy, Costas, or what's his name, the Greek guy,
Simakis,
Marcus,
something like that, right?
and Robertson. So I'm not too worried. If Firmino comes back by international break, then he'll play defense. And then they should get Thiago back too eventually,
Yeah, Thiago should be good.
I think they're.
And
I
now,
think they're
and
both
now,
in
and
contention
now
for
Liverpool,
Leicester.
and now Liverpool have a front four, just like all these other teams now. So, and then City is. I mean, you got to think that they're trying to fix the defense, but it's worrying that they haven't been scoring. And I think the key is to play Foden a lot more than they have, and
Yeah.
There's some stuff they can do, but they're getting a little bit dry on goals right now because everything runs through only De Bruyne.
Yeah, and that's concerning because Bernardo Silva's been kind of anonymous, right? Aguero's been in and out of the side.
Sterling hasn't been.
Mahrez has been kind of on and off, right? Sterling too.
He's hot right now, actually, Mahrez.
Sterling missed like an opportunity against Liverpool too. Allison played it pretty well, and then Matip covered for him, but Sterling definitely had a chance to score. We'll see. You can definitely start to see though it's taking its effect even on two of the biggest clubs in England. Another big club that I would categorize as not hot right now, guys, Juventus. Juventus had a 1-0 lead over Lazio this weekend, courtesy of Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. And then they dropped it. They fumbled it at the end. In the last minute, they gave up a goal to Felipe Caicedo. Lazio ties it 1-1. And Juventus, guys, is sitting somewhere near mid-table in Italy right now, not looking convincing at all by any stretch of the imagination. Kind of forgot what figure of speech or whatever I was going to use there. Kind of stumbled across that there. But yeah, no, they're not very convincing under Pirlo. It's kind of ugly actually to look at right now. and again, they were one of those teams that was getting by on just individual quality at points, right? On maybe just CR7, but I'm gotta say I'm concerned for them now, and now more than ever is the time to take that league. I would say right now it's completely up for grabs in Serie A. Seeing Juve at this point, seeing Inter continue to stumble after what should be them continuing to progress after a good year last year, seeing Lazio kind of stumble now. Milan really seeing Milan go on a 22, 23, 24 match unbeaten streak, like that's shocking, right? And seeing that, I think this is as competitive as the league has been in a decade. And it's a complete toss up, I think, in Serie A, and Juve is not hot, to reiterate.
Yeah, there's something going on with Dybala, right? He's not really showing up, or he's not responding to Pirlo. He's completely gone anonymous in some sense.
I feel like they're not hot, but they'll not get it together, but probably win the title or at least be competing for it. But yeah, the weird thing about Juve is that they played exactly the same as they did last year. You know, besides that, now they got their only hot player right now is Morata, right? I mean, Cristiano's like. He's a freak, but he can't win every game without an idea, and I don't really see an idea out of Juve right now of what they're gonna do. Besides start McKinnon in the midfield.
Yeah, they look even more confused than they did under Sarri last year.
Yeah, that's a good.
Shout out Sarri, won them the title then with basically the same team.
See, the reason why I kind of start to take it back after I start to calm down a little bit is remembering that Pirlo is a first-year coach, and this is going to be a long-term project, right? But I think we're just so used to seeing Juventus dominate that league, right? This is a straight decade of them winning the championship, the Scudetto, sorry. So it's kind of jarring to see them in this, like, this isn't even their final form, right?
I mean, this is for the better in a way. If you take one bad season and you get 5 good ones, progressive good ones, and it makes kind of cancels out. It's growing pains, bro. The growing pains of Pirlo.
Well, you know who else isn't hot? Arsenal. They suck, and they're not gonna compete for top 6 because they're awful.
Yeah, coming off a 1-0 victory, which was a penalty, mind you, against Manchester United, they proceeded to get blown out by Aston Villa. Aston Villa, a surprise there in the Premier League. No disrespect to either player, especially Jack Grealish, because Grealish is going places, but Arsenal straight made Grealish and Barkley look like Andres Iniesta and Xavi out there. Yeah. Those guys balled on Arsenal. Granted, Thomas Partey, who has been Arsenal's best signing and possibly their best player so far, got hurt in this match. But yeah, I agree completely. Not hot and a lot to be concerned about there. To his fucking. There you go.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, a lot to be concerned about for Arsenal. Arteta was making some progress, but now it looks like the honeymoon period is long over now.
Aubameyang hasn't scored.
Yeah, after he's scored maybe once, I think, after signing the extension, right? Twice now. He's got 2 goals on the season.
Lacazette's gone missing as well for them. Willian looks like a 30, I don't know, how old is he, 34-year-old winger?
Yeah, 32-year-old.
32-year-old winger, that he looks his age. So, yeah, it's a mess up the top. And he doesn't want to play Nicolas Pepe, who plays well in Europa, or in Europa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing well in Europa, and I don't know, they're definitely missing, like you say repeatedly, a Ozil-shaped player in the midfield.
They got to bring him back, right?
It's over.
That's exactly what they need.
It's over for Ozil. But I agree with you,
it's
especially.
over for Ozil, but Ozil's doing fan service and trying to get his name to look like he's the victim there.
He saved Gunnersaurus.
Yeah,
he saved Gunnersaurus. So I think he's gonna play for another team, but right now, Arsenal, they need another player in there to kind of open them up offensively.
I don't know. I haven't even bolder. I don't know if it's a bold prediction, but I think Ozil might be done, guys. Like, not just you said another team. If you want to talk, Johnny jokes about Illuminati blood sacrifices all the time. Yo, Ozil pissed off the wrong people, dude, and I don't think he's ever gonna play again. Like unless it comes to like MLS, like he might come play in MLS. He'll get a job here, but like a big club in Europe, it's over because he pissed off China, he pissed off the German
Snap.
government, right? He a lot of shady shit going on behind the scenes there. The man spoke his mind and he's made some enemies. And certainly his style of play, which kind of borders on lazy, you can say,
Mm.
has definitely not helped his cause, right? And modern football is going towards, like Andres has said repeatedly on other occasions, is going away from what you call the traditional number 10, right? We're looking for more 8s and 6s who do everything in the midfield these days. I kind of agree. I feel that there's still, space for a number 10. Holy shit, go back to that. That the pole jumping girl. Sorry, Johnny's putting some distracting shit on YouTube over here. But yeah, no, Ozil has been the Illuminati blood sacrifice goat for, I don't know, the board there at Arsenal. So I don't know. Maybe we
Free
can.
Ozil, though.
Maybe yeah, free Ozil. Maybe we can come see him play for the Fire or some shit. I'll take him at the Fire.
I would go every weekend if he's playing at the Fire.
And then just to kind of wrap up, boys, because there's no picks to make this weekend. There's no club football until the 20th again.
Great.
Not hot. Two French players that stay not hot, guys. I've tried to give them both chances on several occasions now, maybe longer than most people have. But Paul Pogba and Antoine Griezmann, guys, not hot. Not hot. Which is funny because they go play for the France and they seem so happy and play relatively well. But at club level, for both of them, Pogba comes in and out of the squad and with the injuries and then comes back in and gives up penalties. He's given up 2 penalties recently against United. Griezmann, we just saw again the highlights against Betis. He missed 2 clear opportunities and a penalty. It's just no consistency and missing clear opportunities, missing sitters for Griezmann. I think the ship has sailed for both of them at their clubs. Would you guys agree?
Nah, I don't want to say all that. Ozil's like my favorite player. He's always been a classy player that he's too talented to leave off your team. And it's dumb. I mean, I guess it's political, like, or something else, because it can't be that they don't want him to play, you know?
What about Pogba or Griezmann?
Oh, even worse. Pogba, the problem with Pogba is his attitude. He comes in and he, like, doesn't really try, kind of tries, but, like, I've been saying he's just a luxury player, man. Like, you can't build your team around him. You can use him as a complement club. I don't even
Complimentary piece?
Yeah, exactly. Like a complimentary piece, luxury guy. Because he's done at United. I mean, I've been saying, like, it hasn't looked good for him in a long time, right? When's the last time you've said he had a good game?
When he came back from
Like
injury?
a whole good game, 90 minutes?
Yeah.
What you bought him for?
Yeah.
A whole game?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy with that. And then Griezmann, the guy just can't make it at Barca.
It's over.
He just can't make it. Like, he's getting clear opportunities and chances, and they're just not. He's not converting. But Messi set him up a nice little dummy this weekend, right? And he got a goal.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Messi coming off the bench there too.
Yeah, I don't think Pogba is in a good situation in Manchester United, so he looks bad when he does play. Definitely looked a lot better in a kind of like a Juve diamond instead of this Manchester United diamond that they have. But that was a whole different team. I don't know. I don't know what his future holds. I don't know if he has a role in the team anymore, or if another player might step up. We'll see what they do in the transfer window. And then Griezmann is having a career low in like every single stat besides passing. Probably meaning that probably the level at Barca is too much for him. Probably just too safe, too cautious, too low on confidence. I don't know.
He's
Not really looking like 120 million.
Yeah, no, definitely not. He's getting in the right spots. He works hard, but he's got to make these. Some of these are. I know I was giving you a hard time about Gabriel Jesus missing sitters. Like Griezmann is right up there too right now. These are goals that he should be making, and it's like maybe you said he's short
He
on
missed the
confidence.
penalty.
Missed the penalty when Messi wasn't there. The golden opportunity for him to take responsibility didn't happen, and then we saw at least 2 or 3 other opportunities where he should have scored. He could have scored, and they went begging. They went wide. So yeah, definitely not. Again, I was very patient with him. I said he was one that didn't fit the system and therefore needed some time. He's all out of time for me.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Call it like it is.
Then again, too, I wrote off Ousmane Dembele, and maybe it looks like he can contribute still. Maybe.
You were sending him to, I don't know, MLS league already. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm
Anyone,
still
please.
not. I still think he's gone from Barcelona and he's done there. But this is looking a lot more promising than
This is his
anything else.
best chance right now that Fati's out to kind of prove himself on the team. If he can't make it right now when they need him literally to do everything now that Fati does, then yeah, he should probably look elsewhere to play.
Yeah.
All right, boys, that pretty much wraps it up for me. That brings up everything I had on the list here. Anything else you guys want to add? Anyone you think is hot? Anyone you think is not? What's good? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Until next week,
I don't know if
guess.
you guys want to talk about next week's matches or.
Well, that's the
guys
thing.
wanna-
There aren't no matches until.
Or I'm saying for the next.
It's till like November 20th.
Yeah, November 20th. Friday, November 20th is the next time there's a match. So we'll probably come back next week and preview for the return of club football. And see what else, what other news develops. See who else gets COVID. See who else picks up injuries while on international duty. Again, I hate to sound like I'm wishing that on anybody, but it seems like it seems inevitable at this point, right? They're just gonna keep piling up, unfortunately.
Yo.
Yeah, well, I know we didn't talk about too much about what happened internationally, but shout out to Scotland. Scotland breaking like a 28-year-old drought
For any
Since,
tournaments?
for major tournaments. Yeah, since 1998, I think. the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, and now they're gonna go to the Euro, right?
Yeah, they who did they beat? They beat it wasn't Iceland. I think Iceland got beat by Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary got in at the death too. Hungary's gonna jump into the Group F, the group of death already for Euro 20. Well, it was supposed to be Euro 2020, being played in 2021 now. We've got a match. Hungary gets in thrilling last-minute fashion, only to be placed in the group with Germany, Portugal, and France. So, good luck, Hungary.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of upsets or too many games that kind of, set the stage for something different for Euros. I don't know which teams you guys were following, but
None.
it looked pretty much like most of the teams that were gonna make Euros are probably in Euros right now. So.
Yeah, it's hard for me to really care about internationals in the middle of the club season when they're not for like Euro or World Cup. So in the summer, right, when Euro is here, then I'll be into it. But this right now, yeah, I can't do it. I might try to watch them just because I need some football in my life, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm bummed. Like I said at the start of the show,
Well,
can't wait till the
England
20th.
won.
Can't wait till the
England
20th.
won. Grealish, Sancho, link up kind of left Manchester United fans feeling a little salty. I
That's
guess.
right. They combined for England. England beat Ireland today, 3-0. Johnny doesn't like the blue kits.
Yeah, I don't. The best international kit I seen is the Portugal one that you guys didn't like. The away one.
Nah, the away one, no way.
I like the home and that away one. I think those are the best.
There's a couple kits that are cool. Some of them are kind of bad.
Mexico no new kit, right? They're still rocking what? The black one? Some black one?
No, they're rocking that white away one. I don't remember. I'm blanking out on what the home one is right now.
The black one, I think.
Cristiano Ronaldo 8 away from all-time international scorer.
Yeah, and he's looking every bit about to do it.
He's 36 years
and
old.
that's mm,
Is he really 36? That's how old he is? That's crazy.
He's I think he's 36. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, well, 8 goals away from. Is it Ali Daei? Is that whose record it is? Did he score the most? I
yeah.
think he did, right? For Iran?
Mm. And Messi and Ronaldo are within 50 goals of Pele, so that's probably going to be in the news soon.
Damn. That's a good preview.
But they're all trailing Romario. Romario claims to have scored 1,000 goals in his career.
Shout out to Pesci over here. Frankie was calling our boy.
Lionel Messi has scored, I think, 6 goals from the penalty spot now. So we were joking around and calling him the new Penaldo, Pesci. But he scored his first goal in La Liga from open play. Scored a rocket this weekend against Betis. So shout out to Messi from open play. The floodgates are opening. The floodgates are open.
Would you say Messi's hot?
I mean, I wouldn't say.
Playing well. He's playing well.
I guess to Messi standards, he was kind of quiet, but the floodgates are opening now. Just watch. But yeah, that brings us to a wrap for today. Thank you guys. The big shout out to you guys who watched us live. There was at least 5 or 6 of you guys watching live the whole time, so we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Keep up the comments. Leave us a like. Subscribe to the network. For those of you guys into UFC, mixed martial arts, be on the lookout for another fight companion this Saturday. I don't even know who's on the main card anymore because it's not Makhachev, right, Rafa? Islam Makhachev had to drop. Oh, Paul Felder. That's right. The Irish Dragon taking the fight. 5-round fight on short notice. Legend that Paul Felder is. I like Paul Felder more and more every day. You know that? He's a nice guy. And now he's taking this fight. He's a corner man.
He's from Milwaukee.
He's a fighter. He's a commentator for the company. I'm sad I don't get to see Makhachev, but this will be a pretty good fight either way. So we'll look out for the Fight Companion on the Full Heel Network. If you haven't already, check out the episodes that Rafa did with Jeff and Ryan this last week for some classic ECW and some classic Survivor Series. And thank you guys again. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Watch internationals, I guess, if you're into it. And be safe. Be healthy.
Yeah.
COVID crazy out there.